Hey guys, it's Greg here. Today I'm talking about two of my favorite directors and two of the best ones, Alfred Hitchcock and Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, okay, so these guys are both gods of cinema. They're two of the best. But I just want to say, which one is better, though? Alfred Hitchcock or Kubrick? And it's a weird argument because they're actually very different directors. The only thing they have in common is that they're both extremely talented, really. But I would argue that, first off, Hitchcock made more masterpieces than Kubrick. And yeah, I get that this is debatable, but I would say so. But on the other hand, Kubrick made less bad movies than Hitchcock did. It's just a fact. Yeah, Hitchcock had more experience and all because he made more movies, but there's just, a bunch of them that people just don't really care about. Uh, Especially nowadays. He's just got some forgotten movies, which is okay, a lot of people do. But I think it's worth mentioning that Kubrick only made, a couple flops. Another thing, though, is that Hitchcock was maybe a little bit more innovative than Kubrick. You could also argue that, too, that Kubrick is more innovative than him. But it seems like every Hitchcock movie is always, trying new things. Every single time he's trying to push the boundaries of cinema. And again, Kubrick did that also. But I feel like I see that more in Hitchcock's work. But the problem, though, is that led to Hitchcock, some of his movies will just have some shots in it that are just dated. Even in some of his greatest masterpieces, like Rear Window, the shot of, spoiler alert, Jimmy Stewart falling from his window. And, he'll have a bunch of shots in there that just don't hold up as much. Usually there's at least, one or two in most of his movies. In North by Northwest, they'll have, that part where this guy falls off the mountain near the end. Or, or even in Vertigo when someone falls off a building. It just, it kind of, it just doesn't look as good as I think it did back then. As opposed to when you watch a Stanley Kubrick movie, it's pretty much, you're not going to find many dated elements. It's much harder to find them. So there's that. And another argument that might piss people off a little bit is that I think that overall Kubrick had a little bit less style than Hitchcock. Yes, they both definitely had signature style. There were things they did in each film that you could say, oh, that's an Alfred Hitchcock movie, or that's a Stanley Kubrick movie. But overall, it's Hitchcock's signature style is a little bit more defined. Things like The Innocent Man, Wrongly Accused, or ironic death in his movie, like murders that don't happen the way that they're supposed to in the film. And you could say that about a lot of movies and of Hitchcock's. And I think that it's more recognizable when you watch a movie that it's Alfred Hitchcock's. Now, Kubrick had signature elements also. But it's a little bit harder to notice that the guy who directed The Killing also directed 2001: A Space Odyssey or Full Metal Jacket or something like that. It's a little bit harder to pick that up. And yeah, I get Kubrick's style evolved throughout his career, but I still think that overall you're going to notice if it's a Hitchcock movie before you notice if it's a Kubrick movie. At least at certain points in time. I mean, you can definitely tell that the guy who made 2001: A Space Odyssey made, A Clockwork Orange or, The Shining or something. You can tell. But a lot of it goes back to his older movies. The guy who made Spartacus made Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, I don't think you would have guessed that. Oh, okay, and yeah, I get that this is kind of subjective. And it's coming from the guy who has very controversial opinions about Alfred Hitchcock and Stanley Kubrick. I personally find that I don't feel the exact same way as other people do when it comes to their movies. For instance, Kubrick, I feel like his best movies are Doctor Strangelove, Paths of Glory, and The Shining. I'm still not really sure what to think of 2001: A Space Odyssey yet. I don't pretend to understand all of it, though I do obviously respect it and appreciate it. And for Alfred Hitchcock, my favorites of his are Psycho, Rear Window, The 39 Steps, Rope, and Vertigo. And overall, of which one I personally prefer, I think I admire Kubrick more as a director, partly because of the performances he got out of his actors. But if I was going to choose between Hitchcock's movies or Stanley Kubrick's movies, I'm probably going to watch a Hitchcock movie. I just think I like his movies generally more than Kubrick. And look, I love them both. I'm a huge fan of both of them. I think that they're both two of the greatest directors ever. And there's a reason that their movies connect with so many people, because they had so much to say, and they were both able to say it extremely well. So, yeah, press the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want more. Hopefully, I'll have another Directors Versus coming out soon. So, stay tuned for that. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care.